It's the S24 Ultra. It's in hand. It's here. Listen, the Love Fest or the semi-Love Fest is going to be tomorrow. I'll go over a lot of stuff on the 48-hour review, a lot of the things I like about it, because there are quite a few things I like about this device, as you would expect for $1,300 and being a fan of the Samsung devices. But today is for the gripes. Today is for the three things, really two things, and one minor kind of get off my lawn thing, that are really annoying me about the S24 Ultra, and I really don't understand why. I turned 40 this week, and it's been a while since doctors recommend I get this stuff out of my system. I let it go. That way it doesn't internalize and I have high blood pressure or something like that. But let's talk about something that a lot of people are talking about all over the place. I saw it. I even responded to Michael Fisher on Twitter when he had sent it out, something about bland displays on phones and it absolutely being a trend for some manufacturers. Very weird, very disturbing, and it's really on the S24 Ultra. Now look, this is a reviewer-specific problem perhaps, because if you look at the phone, if this is the only phone you use, the only phone you look at, you're not going to notice it. However, I've seen a lot of people online coming from S10 Pluses, from Note 9s, from S21 Ultras, looking at those displays and then looking at the display on their S24 Ultra and wondering, hey, what the heck happened? Because this is a dull, bland display color-wise. Now, it's one of the sharpest, most gorgeous displays I've looked at in terms of clarity, in terms of definition. It's excellent, really great on that end. However, the colors are significantly drier, I guess you could say, or whatever, bland, dull in comparison to a lot of other devices. I've got my S23 Ultra here, and I'm going to pop this one on now as well and see if you can tell side by side. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to bring them closer. It's going to be tough to tell on camera because the camera balances stuff. But you could kind of get it there. This is the S23 Ultra on the right. Look at how poppier the blues are and everything else. Now, I don't think this is an accident. I don't think this is a mistake. I don't think this is something that I got as a bad panel. I think this is a conscious decision by Samsung. And you've seen it from other manufacturers of toning down what people used to criticize for them as being a cartoonish display. Because now, with photography and all the rest taking over these phones, people more and more are going for a true-to-life image for their photography and whatever else. If they're using it for more professional applications, they want a color tone that's more accurate. Fine. Here's my problem. I don't like that. I don't need a phone that I'm paying $1,300 for with all this technology to give me true-to-life. Give us the option. In fact, we used to be able to go in here. We'll get to the always on display in a moment because that's my other gripe. But go to display. We go to the screen mode, and Vivid used to do something. It used to actually make a difference. But look at this: natural, vivid, natural, vivid. Did you notice a difference? I certainly didn't, and I could move this white balance all over the place, and the white balance and the RGB all over the place, and not really get a difference on this display. It's just bland. That's all it's going to be. And you held it up to the S23 Ultra, which was slightly more dull than the S22 Ultra, which was way duller than the S21 Ultra, which was the really last punchy Samsung display, full-on saturation that they gave us. I don't understand how you could have all these color modes for color accessibility and colorblind people, and you got all these things you could do with the display, and not give us a mode that is more the true vivid mode that we would expect. I don't get that at all. I don't know why we have to live with these colors. Now, there's a couple things you could do to make it slightly better that I did. Number one, by default, the extra brightness isn't on. So go ahead and put on extra brightness, because at first it's dull and it's a little dim, even when you put it all the way up, and you really don't feel like you're getting that 2600 nits or whatever it is on this device. So turn off adaptive brightness and turn on extra brightness. You get a little bit there. Adaptive color tone, when you turn that on, you get a little bit of the, it makes it warmer. It brings kind of the yellowish back into it, which unfortunately adds a little life to these things. See, I don't like a warmer display, but if you're looking for those punchier, richer, saturated colors, then if you turn that on, you're going to get, depending on the white balance of the area that you're in or whatever else, you're going to get more of that traditional feel a little bit. With the extra brightness, you can kind of fluff it a little bit. Turn the extra brightness on, make sure it's nice and bright, Do that, and you could kind of get a little bit of the colors that you used to get, but it's nothing like what we had even last year on these panels. So if you're somebody who loves that super saturated display, unfortunately, I don't think I held this up next to a Pixel 8 Pro. The Pixel 8 Pro and the Super Actua display is more saturated and has poppier colors than a Samsung panel on a Samsung Ultra device for $1,300. Something I never thought I would say. And you might sit there and say, well, these are awfully nitpicky and who cares about the colors and stuff like that. We've talked about this before. If you charge max money, $1,300 is max money for your phone, you set a certain bar for your device. So you don't get any passes. You don't get any freebies. You don't get any, well, that's okay because of what you're paying. When you're paying all the money, you expect all the features and all the excellence and the premium. Now, for some people, a more accurate, crisper display is what they want. For me, it's the saturation. So I'm just warning you, if you're coming from an S10 Plus, an S21 Ultra, one of those other devices, you're going to be a little disappointed at first. There's going to be a little bit of whiplash when you look at this display and it's like, where did my colors go? Where's the saturation slider? Here's the other thing. Always on display as it pops on here. I turned off the picture because I have a video lock screen on the background, so I can't do that isolated pet thing where it kind of isolates your pets and it dims out the rest of it. I don't know why. You look over the other side and see Apple and what they did and all the crying that everybody did, including myself, about that always on display and how awful that implementation is, and say, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the one that we had over here that works, where I could adjust the brightness, I could put a little picture of whatever I want on there, and then have a regular always on display. They've taken that away. Now, they could bring that back in software, but I hope they do it, because this isn't it. I can't change the brightness here at all. I used to be able to push the always on display brightness. I always put that at the max, so I could see it from far away. I can't edit that here now. I also can't I could do some clock stuff, and I could do some color stuff on here, but I can't get the little picture that I used to get. And if I put that thing on, the Apple version of the always on display, it makes me sick. So we'll go down to here, always on display, show lock screen wallpaper. I don't like that. I always feel like I've got a notification. I always at a glance really can't see what icons are up there. I don't like it. I don't know why the one feature that everybody complained about the Apple always on display, you bring over to here. Makes no sense to me. Bring it back. The regular always on display that we've loved on Samsung for 100 years now. Bring it back. I want my little picture of my cat and to be able to see stuff and alter the brightness on it so I can actually see it in daytime. I don't know. Sometimes people make decisions for the sake of making decisions and it doesn't work out. When you change for the sake of change, things get lost in the translation. I don't think they should have messed with the color temperatures or the brightness of the saturation on the display. I don't think they should have messed with the always on display. This is the other thing too. When I took this out of the box, I still got this weird kind of studio setup here, so I'm not really looking where I'm looking. See this? See that? Let's see if I can stand up and show this for the last bit. See how look at that? It just looks like it's out. I thought it was unlocked for a second. When I first took this out of the box, I'm like, oh, the S Pen's unlocked. Let me push it back in. No, it was locked. It's just a different way of doing it. See how smooth that is against the frame there on the S23 Ultra versus how it sits on the S24 Ultra. It looks almost out of place. Look, nitpicky stuff maybe. Quality of life stuff, absolutely. Certainly things you're going to notice. And I've seen it just regular. I showed this to my wife last night. I showed her the display. And I said, she's an iPhone user. I said, what do you think? First word out of her mouth was, it's dull. Dull. It isn't like a poppy display. Very strange. This is a Pixel 7 Pro display, which was on the duller side. And I don't know why Samsung, who's known for these gorgeous, poppy, contrasty, awesome OLEDs from back in the day, with S3, the original Galaxy, like those devices, you want to say they were a little too cartoonish? Fine. But you can't now then go to this, where you're really washing out a lot of the colors. Look, there's a lot of positives about this phone. We're going to go over those tomorrow. There'll be plenty. We'll do the full 48-hour tomorrow and go through everything. There's a lot to like about this device, but just understand that there's some things that really struck me right away, and I wanted to make sure to highlight them here. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.